So good afternoon, everyone. We're here today with six of the best and brightest students at Bergen Community College, all semifinalists for the prestigious Jack Kent Cooke Undergraduate Scholarship, which is a wonderful opportunity. If you don't know, provides up to $40,000 a year for school. We've had Bergen students win the award in the past, and we have a proud tradition at Bergen of winning the Jack Kent Cooke and our students earning Jack Kent Cooke. So today we are going to talk with six of our students and give them a chance to talk about what the Jack Kent Cooke undergraduate scholarship would mean for them, what their scholarship or what their experience has been like at Bergen Community College, and what may be in their future. So we're going to start off with Melissa. Melissa, before you get into the question, make sure you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what your major is, and the first question that I'll throw at you is Bergen Community College. Why did you choose to attend a community college, and why are you on track to graduate from Bergen later this year?
Dr. Radanka, hi everyone. So the reason why I chose Bergen Community College, since I'm an international student, the word stand up to me, the big community. So when I hear the word community, it really stand out the most because I wanted to come to a place that I can find like diversity, and I found it at Bergen Community College. I was able and I was lucky to find a lot of people who helped me achieve my goals. And that's the main reason why I chose Bergen Community College to pursue my engineering science degree that I'm majoring in.
Just to sort of throw that out to some of the other students, Layla, you are involved in student government. You're the Student Government Association president. What has it been like to serve at an institution that has so many students, and not only to serve at an institution with so many students, but so many students in the midst of a pandemic?
Yeah, it's definitely been rather difficult and at times difficult, but an amazing experience. I've definitely talked to other presidents who were before me and trying to get an idea of how to be able to be as a good president for this semester and this academic year. And it was definitely a transition because there's so many different experiences with students. Some students are excelling, some students are really feeling left behind, and it's kind of being able to get SGA to cater to all those students and all those different experiences. And I've met so many people and I've tried to, the whole executive board has really just worked so hard to be able to voice all kind of the concerns and be able to give as much aid and as help as we can. Again, Ashe is just for the students, and that's our main focus. And even working with administration, that's definitely been a difficult and different process, just working to kind of get student voices there and be part of that seat, even when we're not on campus and we're not that visible, to be able to just walk up to an office. So it's definitely been catering in those aspects, setting up meetings, setting up, events, volunteering events, all kind of stuff to just help students as much as we can.
So to the other four students that haven't spoken, I'm interested in your perspective, each of you, on what it's been like being a community college student during the time of the pandemic.
I guess I could go for this one. So my name is Ignacio Leon, and I am an interdisciplinary studies major, graduated from Bergen last semester. And I will say that as a student, as one of the many students at Bergen Community College who went through the trials and tribulations of online learning, I would say uh, the lesson I learned the most from the experience was definitely the sense of isolation and really the need for all of us to just stay connected. Luckily, we in Bergen Community College has offered through their professors many different ways in which we can stay communicated through different panels and everything. But it's really for a lot of students, mental health is definitely going to be something that we're constantly trying to overcome as college students. And so, again, Bergen Community College has done a great job in trying to handle itself throughout the whole pandemic situation. And I'll just say that for those struggling, again, it's just trying to face the storm, face the weather. We're not you know, it feels so personal, and yet knowing that we're all in this together is, at least for me, what was the most reassuring thing, and helped me to get through my semester. And so I'm sure for a lot of people, knowing that Bergen is there, they're willing to help, and they're able to connect us with the right people, it'll get us through this storm for sure.
To the other three students, Crystal, go ahead. I posed the same question.
Okay. So I mean, definitely there was that felt of, loss of connection to all the students, I think, during this pandemic. But I mean, but I think in a good positive side, there was a lot more opportunities given to students. As a co-founder of the hub, we were able to experience sorry, ignore the little bell. I'm sorry. So we got that opportunity to, create that sense of community to students. And I think I had like friends that were all the way in Israel or in Korea conducting research. And that's also, it was all possible because it was virtual. And I think in a sense like that, it did bring a lot more opportunity to students during this time. And I mean, Bergen was very supportive. I know at the tutoring center, they increased the appointment time to 3 instead of 2. And, all those resources were available to students, which was really great. Yeah.
Beckham and Yara, if you'd like to step up, go ahead, Yara.
Oh, I totally agree with Crystal. At first, when the pandemic was starting, I'm pretty sure everyone felt like disheartened, and they lost that connection that they had with people, especially since a lot of us started before the spring semester. So I kind of felt out of touch with my peers and my professors just because it was mostly asynchronous. But then I found that I actually had more opportunities and more resources offered by Bergen. It was very helpful. As a community college student, one of the most important things for me is financially, I need to be more stable. So I need to work part-time and I need to work around my classes. So the asynchronous classes really helped out. The teachers were very understanding of the situation. I was able to join more clubs, more research projects. So it was great to connect with more people. And I find that I made more friendships online and all over, not just the US, but all around the world. People were studying from their home country. And it was just great. It was a great opportunity.
Beckham, why don't you provide a closing statement as it relates to learning at a community college during a pandemic?
Well, definitely it was like a tough time for all of us, for all students of Bergen community, but that's not it. So for all students all around the country, it was harsh. But I believe that in the position that we are right now, like 6 of us here hold officer and vice president and presidential positions. We have to reflect that we bear the responsibility, not only like we bear the responsibility to solve to find solutions for this pandemic. So and that's what we did, like during our time from last year, I think from March of last year till now, we've been very active and very engaged in trying to provide solutions. As Crystal said, that the hub or other students mentioned their activities, such as Layla in student government or me at Phi Theta Kappa. So despite being I can conclude that despite being a harsh transition from in-person to online classes, on the other hand, we are responsible for not for only for ourselves, but for our other students who elected us. So.
Yeah, and let's pivot off of the pandemic for a moment. we're going to leave the COVID-19 world shortly, and that's not to say that we're going to forget about it. We're certainly not going to, but there's a whole big, beautiful world out there, and you guys are going to be graduating and probably heading to a four-year institution this fall. Is there any apprehension? Is there any concern about making that transition back to full in-person learning as you go to what may be a very prestigious and renowned four-year institution? Anybody can jump in on that if you have concerns.
I would just say that we're once things start going back to normal, definitely, at least for me personally as a student, is just that being able to connect with people, because that's part of like why I decided why I very much like college. And for a lot of people, their mission is to get on to that next degree, get on to that next job. But it's amazing for me during my classes, and I've learned this so much with Bergen's classes taught by many highly valued and highly educated professors, that it's just such a joy to hear my teachers talk about the reasons why they got into the field they wish to specialize in, why they decided to teach, and all that's just very inspiring. For me, as someone who aspires to become a filmmaker and who's on the path for a philosophy degree, just being able to sort of capture those moments and to be absorbed by that community is something that I very much look forward to. And again, it's just being able to connect with classmates, being able to once again socialize, and just really have that sense of community again. So I think once definitely in-person classes are completely open and available, I think the struggle, yeah, maybe there'll definitely be sort of a hiccup getting back to it. You know, everybody wants to stay safe. But I think what the one thing everyone I'm sure will embrace is friendship and community. So definitely that.
So let's talk about some of those other struggles, and I mean this is one that the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship sort of breaks down a barrier for, and that is finances. I mean I said it before at the outset, but it could be life-changing money, when you have the opportunity to go to again a prestigious four-year institution tuition free. I mean, removing the barrier, the financial barrier to education, what would that mean for all of you? I mean, any one of you can chime in, but I'd like to hear from a few of you on that one. Go ahead, Melissa. Yeah.
I think that like being a recipient, like from the Jack and Cook, like as you say, Dr. Labanca, is just a life changing. For me as an international student, it will be completely different change because it's a different paying tuition in a state than paying out of a state. So it will be a huge difference, like just continue my education journey because that was kind of like one of the main reasons when I decided to pursue my education here in the United States because I was able to see like all the opportunities and I couldn't have been getting and more be fortunate about like being doing my own research, being selected like for the governor's STEM program of New Jersey. I was taught that international students are not available for that type of opportunities and also scholarships. So when I came here, all the time I opened my ears and opened my eyes just to see and just hear the word scholarship. And I think like it will be, as you say, will be a life changing for me financially and just to continue my education journey.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Okay. So, I mean, even at a Bergen Community College, at a two-year institution, I mean, Bergen was great. Like, I was able to take part in research over the summer. But I think if I do get the scholarship, then what's great about it is obviously the financial burden is kind of gone now. So I could use that time, doing more research, engage in more community service. And I bet, although Bergen was great, I know that a lot of the prestigious institutions will have like re-owned faculty members, re-owned facility to conduct research. And, I could use that time really engaging myself in the science, in the field of medicine, to pursue my dream of, going into a medical school, instead of trying to work, part-time or full-time on top of being a full-time student. So I think that's one good aspect of being a Jack and Cook scholar. Yes.
We'll go to Yara first.
Well, like I mentioned before, one of my biggest struggles is being financially stable. I came to the US as an immigrant, so it's kind of difficult to find jobs like for the whole family, not just myself. So when I'm in community college, I kind of have to separate my life into academics and my career. So I have to make enough money to pay for tuition and for fees. And even though it's a community college, it's great. We're given a lot of financial assistance. It's always like a worry in my mind. I'm like, oh, is this semester going to be more expensive than the last one? And this is just talking about just a 2-year institution. So definitely going into a 4-year one is definitely going to be more financially hindering, or it's going to be more difficult on not only myself, but my family as well, because they're great supporters of mine. So being a recipient will definitely help me out in that aspect. I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in chemistry, and I plan on continuing to medical school. So medical school is already a huge expense, and it's kind of like something I don't look forward to in part of my career. That expense part, those bills, is definitely going to be really challenging. So I would think that the 4-year institution part, especially attending a more prestigious school, obtaining a scholarship and not having to worry about all the tuitions I have to pay, would definitely be a great help.
Layla, why don't you jump in? I know you wanted to say something on this.
Yeah, kind of just agreeing with everyone as well. So I pay for college myself. I don't rely on my parents. They're just not able to support me that way financially. So this definitely would be a great help as well. And I think attending a prestigious four-year institution also, they focus heavily on giving back and service and volunteering, which I feel like should always be a highlight of our experience and what we aim to achieve. And just research giving back, especially a lot of us are going to medical fields and where service is the biggest component of it. So I think just really focusing in on the bigger picture, especially for me, I feel like it's the biggest goal and what I hope to achieve.
Any other thoughts on this one? Beckham, you want to jump into? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so well, I believe that it's going to be like a huge and significant help and aid for me to probably be the winner, probably, of the Jack and Cook, believing that if I enter one of the prestigious colleges, I will not only be engaged in academics, but also in extracurriculars, research projects, probably semesters outside the country, and without like having a good foundation, financial foundation, that's entirely not possible, and it's gonna like stop you from being engaged in this type of extracurricular or non-academic activities. And considering that I'm an immigrant, I came here 2 years ago with no significant savings, no inherited properties, and it's gonna be like really a huge aid for me and my career path.
So a lot of you have talked about what the next step might be. And as we start to bring this to a conclusion, why don't we go around the horn and sort of less than a minute each? What is the big audacious goal for you? The Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship will help propel you to a four-year institution, sure. But what's the next step after that? Where is that scholarship going to place you for the rest of your life? So why don't we start in the boxes? I have Ignacio, Crystal, Beckham, Layla, Melissa, and Yara. Why don't we go in that order? And 1 minute on why that Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship is going to make all the difference in the world for you and for our world.
So, to answer the for me part, I would say, again, adding to what everybody, reiterating what everybody else was saying, not only would it provide definite financial security for me to be able to finish my degree, um, but it would just be the catapult, literally the thing that'll slingshot me into wanting to pursue film. And so I believe that were I to have, were I awarded the Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship, it not only would propel me into the field that I would love to be a part of, cinema, but it would allow me to tell the stories of the events that I managed to experience while living in Bolivia, and to really communicate deeper messages about what it means to be human. I feel like right now we all feel so helpless and hopeless, and by having more media center on life and hope and joy, the positive things about being human, I hope to just bring not only awareness to major issues in the world, but also remind people that life is worth living.
Uh,
Chris, or
yes. So,
back.
so what we know is that the Jack and Cook is not only like a financial supportive institution for like global and United States students, but it is also a community of scholars and students of excellence. So to me, as I've mentioned in the Jack and Cook application, my future career goal is after graduating and after probably finishing the law school. My future career goal will be to establish a non-governmental organization that will operate in countries affected by war, because I come from a region that has been affected by ethnic wars from the Eastern Europe. And considering that if I'm the winner of the Jack and Cook Scholarship, and if I get admitted in one of the top and prestigious universities, that will be like a better path and a more efficient path for me to achieve my goal that definitely will affect the community as well, because my goal is to contribute to the community overall.
Let's come back to Crystal.
Okay. So I mean, with the Jack and Cook Foundation's generosity, I can really pursue my dream, and I can join actually the ranks of people who makes a difference. In case this will be helping cancer patients overcome alopecia, and just having that opportunity to really reach my goal, and being able to be surrounded by peers, who are full of passion, knowledge, and conviction. I think that's just what excites me about being that Jack and Cook scholar. Yeah, keep it short.
Layla.
So definitely, my personal goal is to be a genetic counselor, and they just work to help people with disabilities and genetic disabilities. And peering it back to kind of, so I work in the Office of Student Life at Bergen, and the motto is leave your mark. So I feel like that's something that always leaves with me, like leave your mark in every place, and every person you meet, and every institution you go to, every work job. Just leave your mark in however you can, and always positively. So I feel like, again, looking in the future, just to make a difference, make an impact, because we all have that ability, and it's up to us to be able to work towards and actually achieve that goal.
Melissa.
So for me, my current goal is like I'm pursuing an engineering degree with a minor in computer science. So I'm really passionate about creating technological devices that involves and also includes all the minority and society that they face financial needs. So I can say like for me, like my passion it will be just to just serve my community, maybe as a teacher, tutor, mentor, like just involving with the community, and especially maybe with the high school students, because I believe that it's my responsibility, to cultivate our young with the strong foundations, knowledge, and awareness about the other different opportunities that we have in this world.
Yeah, why don't you wrap us up?
So, being a Jack and Cook recipient would greatly help me in achieving my goal as a dermatologist. Since I was younger, I always wanted to become a doctor. I was always surrounded by my family members who work as ER doctors, nurses. One of my close family friends was a dermatologist herself, so I always looked up to her. And I always wanted to just help those around me and become part of something greater. And I also wanted to continue research in medication to, in the future, produce some products or help in the production of products that may help people with skin concerns that they have. So I think that's kind of my ultimate goal.
You all make compelling cases, and if it were up to me, I'd give it to all of you. Um, Before we wrap up, I just want to recognize Melissa once again, as this was sort of an idea that came from her thought process there about how to present a winning application or a great application for this award. And I'm sure there's a lot of great ideas out there and a lot of very willing and deserving people applying. But if it counts for anything, Melissa, good job for coming up with a creative idea here. Go ahead, Melissa.
No, yeah, I just want to say, like, I just was thinking of all of us when I was just asking for this interview, because I know that this is important and I know that everyone can provide their important input and output. So I was just thinking in our community, because we are already with this achievement, we're a semifinalist, so we are already successful, and I know that we're gonna be more in the future. So thank you for acknowledge Dr. Davanka, but
You
yeah.
bet. You bet. No problem. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and I will upload this to YouTube.